Alright, so I'm going to make a little walkthrough video to help you guys with this assignment. I wrote out all the instructions for what I want you to do, but you might look at this and think kind of like, oh my god, what's going on? So you have the the written instructions, and I'll kind of walk you through it here in this video. So first thing you need to do is click this link at the top of the page, and that's going to open this little circuit simulation thing. And if you want to look at that and play around with it and, try dragging stuff around, you can. But what it says right here, it's a little too complicated for our needs. So I don't know if you guys can see my mouse. So what we're going to actually do is we're going to click at the top and then go to blank circuit. So you click here, circuits, and then go down to blank circuit. And that just kind of gives you a clean, open thing to start with. And that kind of here. So circuits down to blank circuit. Okay. Then we're going to look at this draw menu. And this is where you're going to find all the things that you need to put a bunch of stuff in your circuit. And there are tons of different things. I don't even know what all of them do. So, I just try not to get overwhelmed. I'll tell you what you need to worry about. Okay, so we're just going to have a simple DC circuit to start off. And that means we need a DC voltage source. So under the draw menu, I want to look in inputs and sources. And then I'm going to choose add voltage source with two terminals. And so I'm going to go draw, inputs and sources, voltage source with two terminals. Also, you see you can just click V, and that's kind of a shortcut. So I'll do that, and then I click and drag, and you can see that makes our little symbol for a voltage source. Okay, so now we're on to step 4. It says click and drag on the screen. Okay, we already did that. So that's going to give us our little, the DC voltage source. Now, next step, in the draw menu, choose passive components and then add a switch, or just press S. So again, you can do draw passive components and then add switch, or I'm going to take a shortcut. I'm just going to press S. And now when I click and drag, you see I get my little switch. I can turn it off or I can turn it on. So it says, drag away from it, you should see a switch symbol appear. So we did that. Step 6, in the draw menu, choose add wire, or just press W, and then connect your switch to the other end of your voltage source. Your circuit should look something like this. Okay, so I'm going to press W. Now I'm adding wire, and I can click, and you can see I can drag that over. There's one wire. And now I'm going to click and drag up here to complete my circuit. What happened? So what are we on? Number 7. It says, read the message that pops up. So this says voltage source or wire loop with no resistance. So yeah, you can see going through our little loop here, there's no resistance. There's no resistor, right? And so that's bad news. What actually happens is when there's no resistance in a wire loop, current flows very, very fast. And when the current flows fast, things heat up. So when it flows really fast, it heats up a lot. And so basically you melt things and things explode and it's bad news. So the simulation's like, don't do this. This is bad, right? So we just blew ourselves up basically. So we don't want to do that. So we got to work backwards. It says, move your mouse over one of the wires we added earlier. And when it turns blue, press delete. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to delete this wire. So I kind of put my mouse over it, it turns blue, bluish green, and then I press my delete button and it goes away. Okay, so what's next? In the draw menu, choose add a resistor or just press R. And so I'm going to I'll do it the long way. So draw and then add resistor. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this resistor across these two things that I had earlier. Now, what you can do is because it's going to default to 1,000 ohms, but we don't always want 1,000 ohms. Sometimes we might want bigger or smaller. So it says double click the resistor and change the resistance to something other than 1K. So whatever you want. For our little example here, I'm going to choose 150. Okay, so now I have 150 ohms, and if I close my circuit now, and I click run, all right, that looks good, right? So the circuit is flowing, current is flowing, my circuit is working, everything's cool. Now, it says move your mouse over the plain wire still in your circuit. When it turns blue, press delete. So I'm going to move it over. There's my plain wire I still have. Delete it. Okay, so our current stopped. We knew that was going to happen because our circuit's not closed anymore. Now it says in the draw menu, choose outputs and labels, and then add LED, or just press L. And that's going to let us add an LED, which is LED is short for light emitting diode. It's basically a little light that lights up. And so let's do that. So I'm going to press L, and then I'm going to connect right here. And nothing happened, right? So this is one of the things about LEDs. You see, if I kind of put my mouse over it just a little bit, it's kind of hard to get it just right. You see how that arrow is pointing down? Well, that was the opposite of the way our current was flowing, right? Our current was flowing clockwise right here. LEDs, the current has to flow a particular way. And so the arrow is going to point the way it's supposed to go. So that time I clicked and dragged down. You see my arrows pointing down. If I do that, I want it to go up though. So I will just take this right here. You can just, probably the easiest, actually I'll do it the way you should do it, is click here on your bottom one and then drag up. Now look at that. My arrow is pointing up in the direction that my current is flowing right there. And my current is able to flow around the whole thing. And also look, it lights up. If I unclick this, my LED doesn't make any light. But if I supply current to it, it lights up. Okay, so you can read through that. Basically says the same thing I just said. LEDs only work with current flowing through them in one direction. So the arrow shows the direction of the current, and they only light up if enough current is flowing through them. So if, our circuit right here is pretty simple, but sometimes you might have, like if I make this a really high resistor, like let's say 15,000 ohms, look at that. All right, so we can't, the current is barely moving along there. So there's not enough current flowing through that to make my LED light up. Okay, so basically that's kind of the introduction. And now is the fun part. I don't know if you want to call it the fun part, but anyways, what you're going to do is keep playing around with your circuit. You can zoom in or zoom out using the plus and minus keys on your keyboard, or you can go up here to edit and zoom in or zoom out. Or if you have a mouse, you can use the scroll wheel. I'm not sure if you can scroll with the trackpad on the Chromebooks. Maybe y'all can tell me if you can do that. Anyways, that's how you scroll in and out. And if you hold the Alt button and click and drag, you can kind of move things around, right? So that's how you move things around in case your circuit gets bigger than what you can see on your screen at once. So that gives you all the instructions right there. And then the last thing you need to do is you are going to write something in your circuit. You could write your name, you could write Brainerd, you could write Chattanooga, I don't care, whatever. Keep it appropriate, but you can write whatever you want. Then you're going to take a screenshot, and if you don't know how to take a screenshot on the Chromebook, you can click this link in the assignment. But basically what you're going to do is you hold down the control button and the shift Windows key, which, control is this one here, and the shift Windows key is this one with a little square and the lines by it. And that will take a screenshot. And then what you're going to do is you're going to attach that screenshot to this assignment, and that's what you're going to turn in to sort of show me that you did the assignment. So your circuit should have either or an AC or DC voltage. In fact, you could have both. 5 resistors and 5 LEDs. At least. Those are all like the minimum. You could have way more. You could also have more than one circuit. You could have like one letter is one circuit here, and then your next letter is another circuit, and so on like that. Or you could have them all connected. It's up to you. But current should be able to flow through all sections of your creation. Just to kind of show you guys my example here. This is pretty complicated. I kind of got carried away. I've got a bunch of LEDs, a bunch of different switches, or a bunch of different resistors, and there's DC, 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 and then there's an AC, and there's another AC right there. But you can see the S is a little wonky looking, but then it says SHOBER, right? So I spelled out my name. So that's your assignment, is not to spell out my name, but to spell out your name. And then take a picture of it and turn it in. And if you have any questions, obviously I'm always available via Google Hangouts, or you can send me an email, and maybe we can set up a time on Zoom. So good luck. Hopefully you have a little bit of fun, and I look forward to seeing what you come up with.